Okay, today we're going to do subtraction, otherwise known as adding the opposite. So you remember adding the opposite. We had negative 5 minus negative 2. It became negative 5, minus became plus, positive 2. Well, what's a negative 5 and a positive 2? How about negative 3? Now in this one we had 3 minus 8. Well, that's plus a negative 8. And we end up with negative 5. Now that's what you should have learned in the last chapter. So let's see how it applies in this chapter. Well, first, you have to remember some hints about adding the opposite. Leave the first number the same. Change the subtraction sign to an addition sign. And then change the second number to its opposite. So let's look at this one. 1/3 minus 5/6. That becomes 1/3 plus negative 5/6. Now, since these signs are different, that means we'll be doing some subtracting. And I happen to know that 5/6 is greater than 1/3. So what's our common denominator? 6. And we simply rewrite our fractions. Now here's the different part. We know we're subtracting and we're going to get 3/6. But here's the question. Is that a positive or a negative 3/6? Well, if we follow these things, that's the negative, that's the positive. Which one was greater? The negative had a greater absolute value. So this should be negative 3/6 or negative 1/2. Let's try another one, this time with mixed numbers. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is rewrite the problem, and it's 3 1/8 plus 5 1/4. Now, we have to look at these and say, okay, what should we do first? I think we need to change them to improper fractions just to make this an easy problem to work. What is 8 times 3? 24 plus the one on top is 25. So we have negative 25/8 plus 21/4. So when we have these problems, we have to figure out which one is greater. Well, we need to rewrite that 21/4 so it has the same denominator. 21/4 equals how many eighths? We'll just multiply by 2, and we get 42/8. So 42/8 plus 25/8, subtract. And we get, what's that? 17/8? Is that right? 17/8. Now, is it positive or negative? Well, we know this was the greater number and it was positive. So the answer is a positive 17/8. Oh, I love decimals. They're so much easier to work. So we're going to have, on this one, we're going to add the opposite, which means we'll add a positive 5.8. Now these signs are different, so when the signs are different, we subtract. So it's going to be 5.8 minus 3.46, and x is 0. We will have to borrow. Now, is the answer positive or negative? Well, there's more positives than there are negatives, so the answer is positive. Let's go to the next one. Negative 6.25 plus negative 6.3. In this case, the signs are the same, so we will add, and it's simply going to be 6.30 and 6.25. We'll get 12.25 or 12.55. And is the answer positive or negative? It's negative because we have a negative plus a negative. We get more negative. So that's a few examples of how to add the opposite.